Happy Canada Day, everybody, and welcome to Behind the Grape, where we talk about wines from around the world and their flavor profiles, find something unique about them, and just tell a story. Today, I'm really excited. It is Canada Day. I've got a fresh haircut. I put on a nice, crisper shirt to mark the occasion. But again, I want to come back to my backyard, the Niagara Peninsula, Beansville Bench, and talk about a wine that I think is super exciting, has been for a long time, a leader in the Ontario wine industry, arguably a leader as a family in the Canadian wine industry for sure, and that is the Cave Spring Estate Riesling, and this is the 2017 vintage. Cave Spring has been around. Well, the family's been around since 1920s in Niagara, and in 1978 they were one of the first families to grow Riesling and Chardonnay up on the bench. And again, when you're up on the escarpment and up on the bench, you've got these great views of the city of Toronto. You've got these warm breezes coming off the lake all the way through to October, when the lake is actually at its warmest. This wine is grown on vines aged between 11 and 40 years of age, with the I believe the average age around 21, 22 years old. And like anything else, as you get older, you have less energy, you produce less energy, and so these vines too, when they're getting up into that 40-year range, 30-year range, they're struggling. They're driving through the soils trying to get to the nutrients, but they produce less bunches. But the bunches they do produce are super concentrated, and it's really cool. So you get the combination of these super concentrated grapes and then bigger bunches from the younger grapes, and it results in a great wine. Today the winery is run by really three people, Len Penichetti, Tom Penichetti, and Angelo Pavan, who's the winemaker and partner in the winery. Three outstanding gentlemen who deserve a lot of credit for revolutionizing the Niagara wine industry, along with other families. Don't get me wrong, they weren't the only ones. You have the Bosc family in there as well, and numerous others. But the Penichettis hold a very dear place in my heart. I met Tom Penichetti probably 5 years after I moved to Toronto, and I got to go down to Cave Spring quite a few times. Went to Inn on the 20, which is their local inn and little wine shop, which I believe now is actually run by Vintage Inns, so that the gentleman can focus more on the winemaking. And the reason I want to speak about the Riesling is, to me, and again, my opinion only, Riesling is the king grape of Niagara, followed closely by Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, but Riesling to me is king. This particular one, again, up on the bench, it's on limestone, shale, a little bit of gneiss soil, so highly mineral driven, clean. It's stainless steel fermented, and it just speaks to what classic dry Riesling is, which is lean, crisp, mineral driven, fruit forward, and refreshing. And again, much like yesterday when I wanted something hot and refreshing, or cool and refreshing, sorry, on a hot day, today was an extremely hot day in Toronto. And what better way to take the edge off and the heat off than with a great glass of crisp Riesling. So let's look at the wine. Again, Riesling, it's very clear, it's clean, it's pale yellow, it's got a watery rim, you can see right through it. Very little viscosity, very little weight. It's very lean. The nose, this pineapple, apricot, mango, citrus notes of Meyer lemon, some lemon peel, pith, and then that classic Riesling note of kerosene. And you tend to get that in really classic Rieslings, whether it's in Niagara, whether it's in Washington, British Columbia, Germany. It's a telltale note, just classic Riesling note. It's a little bit of those white flowers, white lilies, and then that minerality, that crushed limestone. It smells almost like on a hot day, if you get a little bit of rain, and that smell that comes off that hot cement, I get that a lot here too. No oak at all. Again, this is stainless steel fermented, cool stainless steel fermented. Now let's taste it. Wow, that's delicious. I'm actually getting a really big, bright, candied red apple for some reason, which I never usually get, but it's just kind of hit me there. But there's that pineapple, that mango, that guava, lots of citrus notes of lemon, Meyer lemon, lemon peel, the kerosene and the white flowers, crushed rock, crushed stone, limestone. Just delicious. High acidity, medium alcohol. I believe this comes in around 11% alcohol, maybe 12. It's got a super long finish, and again, that finish is just lingers through that with the pineapple and the kerosene and the honeycomb now as well. It's extremely balanced. I mean, this wine for me, whether you want to drink it on a hot day in the backyard or on a patio, now that we can sit on a patio 6 feet apart, always 6 feet apart, it does the trick on days like today. And if I was going to eat it with something, sashimi. I would also look at something like some Thai food that has a little bit of spice on it, because there's enough sweetness from that honey note to soften the heat from the Thai. A lemon chicken, perhaps. I'd also look at doing this even at dessert with a little bit of a poached pear, going old school. But really and truly, what I would do is I would really crush this just on a patio on its own, maybe with a half dozen oysters, again, if you're in Toronto, from Oyster Boy Oyster. The wine is available at the LCBO, but it's also available from the winery directly or through the Vine Wine Agency here in Toronto through Rob Grow and Ann Jasper, two legends in the wine industry in terms of sales. Cannot recommend this enough. For Canada Day, there's no better wine and nothing more that I want to discuss and talk about than my friends at Cave Spring and their estate Riesling. Get out there, check it out. Great value, great wine, and it will give you everything you want out of a glass of wine. Thanks, guys. Happy Canada Day, and we'll see you tomorrow.